the Oscars! According to me, Steph. Cue music. Every year I make it my annual ritual to watch every single film nominated for an Academy Award. Now usually I have a few here and there that I think might win, but this time I have done a lot of analyzing, a lot of watching movies, a lot of sitting on my ass and trying to justify it so that I can bring you this video. I'm gonna go through every single category and make my predictions on what I think is going to win at this year's Academy Awards. So let's get to it. The first category I'm gonna start with is film editing. And the nominees for Best Film Editing are The Big Short, Mad Max, Fury Road,
I don't know if it's still any good.
The Revenant, Spotlight,
We got law. This is it.
and Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Now for each category, I'm going to pick a winner and a runner-up because a lot of them are pretty close in my opinion. And the Oscar goes to, and I'm going against what a lot of critics have said, but personally, I think it should be The Big Short. That movie was cut and arranged so perfectly, and I really think it deserves some credit. However, my runner-up is very close, and is what most critics have predicted is going to be the winner, and that is Mad Max Fury Road. I need to just say that I'm so excited that Mad Max has been nominated for so many awards, being that it's not really what you would generally consider an Oscar movie, and as you will see in my predictions, it's doing pretty well. Next category is makeup and hair. The nominees are Mad Max Fury Road, The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out the Window and Disappeared, The Revenant. This, to me, is so obviously Mad Max that I feel like I don't even need to give you a runner-up. But I must say my runner-up is going to be The Revenant because that movie was just awesome. And you're gonna notice that a lot of these categories are The Revenant versus Mad Max. Almost every single one. Best Music is the next category, and the nominees are Bridge of Spies, Carol, The Hateful Eight, Sicario, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Alright, my runner-up, and it kills me to say this because part of me just wants to pick this movie as #1 in every category that's nominated for, but I'm gonna have to just contain myself. Star Wars: The Force Awakens is my runner-up. And while John Williams has been nominated 45 times for an Academy Award, 45! And while I love the Star Wars soundtrack, I've always loved the Star Wars soundtrack, I think the fact that this is just another Star Wars soundtrack kind of belittles it a little bit. And I really don't think it compares to my #1 pick, which is The Hateful Eight. The score of that film is so good, especially considering the whole overture thing that they did at the beginning of the film during their whole Roadhouse hullabaloo. That music is phenomenal. I'm so sorry, Star Wars. I still love you! Moving on. The Best Original Song. And the nominees are Earned It from 50 Shades of Grey, Manta Ray from Racing Extinction, Simple Song #3 from Youth, Till It Happens to You from The Hunting Ground, and Writing on the Wall from Spectre. My runner-up, as much as it kills me to say this because I freaking hate 50 Shades of Grey, is Earned It. But my #1 pick, by far, has to be Till It Happens to You from The Hunting Ground. Praise Queen Gaga! I love her. I love her so much. It's a great song. Next we have Production Design, and the nominees are Bridge of Spies,
Here's the thing. The Soviet spy that...
The Danish Girl,
goes...
Mad Max Fury Road,
Maybe.
The Martian.
Anything more than that and the map could tip.
Do I even need to say it? I'm pretty sure Mad Max wins by a landslide. And you guessed it, my runner-up is The Revenant, because every category where Mad Max and The Revenant are in it together, they're kind of just fighting for it. But come on, that production design in Mad Max, so good. Sound editing is the next category, and the nominees are Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian,
Anyone gets lost, hone into my suit's telemetry.
The Revenant, Sicario, and Star Wars The Force Awakens. You guessed it, The Revenant and Mad Max are at it again. And I'm gonna have to give it to Mad Max. The sound in this film is so amazing. There's so much stuff going on all the time, and it always just sounds fantastic. Especially when you consider the music and the guy shredding on the guitar while riding in a car. Meanwhile, the cars are tearing shit up, and it all just mushes together in the most perfectly amazing way. So good. I'm so proud of you, Mad Max. Next we have sound mixing, not to be confused with sound editing. And the nominees are Bridge of Spies,
About this man and what he represents.
Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, and Star Wars The Force Awakens.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Now this one I'm gonna have to give to The Revenant. And it might even be just for the bear scene alone, but that scene was visceral. It had me cringing in my seat, and there is no way that experience would be even remotely the same without the sound mixing. And for similar reasons as I said for sound editing, Mad Max is very, very close second. And followed by that, I have to say that Bridge of Spies had a really interesting sound mix thing going on, and I just want to acknowledge how good it was. So that's my number 3 pick, if anyone cares. Visual effects, one of my favorite categories, and the nominees are Ex Machina, Mad Max Fury Road, The Martian, The Revenant, Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, this is probably the only category where Mad Max and The Revenant are not butting heads. At least, that's what I think. I do think that the runner-up should definitely be Mad Max. The visual effects in that movie were so amazing, and the practical effects were just mind-blowing. But this is the one category where I think we can all agree that Star Wars deserves the win. You just can't compare visual effects to that of Star Wars. You just can't. You can't. Stop trying. You can't. Nothing will ever win. Star Wars is so good. Next we have costume design. And the nominees are Carol, Cinderella,
And you?
The Danish Girl, Mad Max Fury Road, The Revenant. Once again, The Revenant and Mad Max are the top 2, but I think Mad Max takes this by far. Yes, the costumes in The Revenant were fantastic, but Mad Max was so extravagant and interesting and unique, and you can just see the creativity there. Where The Revenant was going for accuracy of the time period, Mad Max was just doing what Mad Max does. Being ridiculous and unique and so awesome, so I think they absolutely are going to win Best Costume Design. Next, we have my 2 favorite categories, which are the writing categories. The nominees for Best Writing from an Adapted Screenplay are The Big Short,
Jared, it's chaos down here. Where are we?
Brooklyn, Carol, The Martian,
It could have been cleaned by wind.
and Room.
Do you remember how Alice wasn't always in Wonderland?
I have absolutely no doubts that The Big Short is going to win this category. Of the 5 nominees, this was the first movie that I saw, and I remember walking out of the theater going, yes, that is absolutely going to win Best Writing. I did go on to see the rest of the nominees, but I just knew instantly. Everything about the script was witty and clever and informative, but entertaining, and it was just perfectly balanced, and I wish I wrote it because it's just so good. Now I have to pick a runner-up because that's what I've been doing this whole video, so I guess I would say if it's not The Big Short, it's probably The Martian, but it's going to be The Big Short. Next is Best Writing of an Original Screenplay, and the nominees are Bridge of Spies,
The accused doesn't know any lawyer.
Ex Machina, Inside Out,
Think it's safe?
What is it?
Spotlight,
I'm not gonna rush the story, Mike. We don't have a choice, Robbie.
Straight Outta Compton.
Hey, you gotta go if we're gonna do this.
Okay, now, I freaking loved Ex Machina. I thought it was such a great film, and the fact that it's nominated makes me so happy. But I don't think it's going to win. It's just too small. The writing is great, and visually it's great, and everything about it is great, but something about it just doesn't quite compare to the level of some of these other movies. But seriously, if you haven't seen Ex Machina, please go see it. Super mind-boggling. I think the only reason it's not going to win anything is because the story itself has kind of been told before. It's a very common concept of robots taking over the world essentially, and artificial intelligence becoming the next human species. But regardless, it is so awesome. Go see Ex Machina. But that's not the winner. It's probably not even the runner-up, unfortunately. But because I love it so much and I'm very biased, I'm gonna give it my runner-up position anyways. It's either that or Bridge of Spies. But my number one is absolutely Spotlight. This film was so interesting, and I loved it because it told a story that everyone kind of knows already. It's historical facts that have already happened, that have already been published in the Boston Globe. But something about the way this story was written and the way that it was told makes it feel like you're seeing it for the first time. And it's not a boring, informative film. It peels back like a mystery, and the whole time I'm just like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And there was never 1 second of me being like, come on, let's go. The whole movie I was just like, yes, yes, yes. So I just absolutely think it's going to win Best Writing. Next we have Best Directing. Very fun category. And the nominees are The Big Short.
No, Alex, no.
Mad Max Fury Road. The Revenant. Room.
And I lived in a house with my mom and my dad.
And Spotlight.
I think that's the bigger story.
My runner-up here is going to be Mad Max. I think the directing was phenomenal. It's really what pulled everything together and made it all flow so nicely. But I've gotta give it to The Revenant. Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu. I always feel like I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. But seriously, kudos, man. Ku-fucking-dos. His directing style is so unique and so fascinating and beautiful, and I just could not give this to anyone other than him. So good. Cinematography is next, and the nominees are Carol.
And your muse.
The Hateful Eight. Mad Max Fury Road. The Revenant. Sicario. Now, my runner-up here is probably gonna go to The Hateful Eight, simply because it was just so interesting to watch. It was a very unique movie-going experience because they took the film to a super wide aspect ratio. And the film premiered as a Roadhouse show that bounced around from theater to theater because that's the way these kinds of films used to be performed. And seeing it in that huge, wide, beautiful aspect ratio really made this film just explode. The landscapes were absolutely stunning, and the way that the camera moved in this wide angle was just so fascinating to watch. But you probably guessed it, I have to give it to The Revenant. I mean, those super long takes, the long, drawn out, uncomfortable scenes of Leonardo DiCaprio just breathing out of his neck, not even being able to speak, following him around through this freaking tundra would not be the same without the camera pulling you in the way that it is and dragging you along through this horrible story through these really long takes. I mean, really long takes. We all saw Birdman. It's the same guy. Also, another reason I don't think The Hateful Eight is gonna make the cut is because the film that wins Best Cinematography is generally also nominated for Best Picture. That's just the way the Academy Awards work. So I would be really surprised if The Hateful Eight took this one. Now let's move on to acting. The nominees for the Best Supporting Actress are Jennifer Jason Leigh in The Hateful Eight, Rooney Mara in Carol,
Yes.
Rachel McAdams in Spotlight,
The numbers clearly indicate that there were senior clergy involved.
Alicia Vikander in The Danish
Do
Girl,
these things together.
and Kate Winslet in Steve Jobs.
Fix it, Steve.
Take it easy.
Fix it, or I quit. How about that? I quit and you never see me again. How about that?
I've got to give my runner-up to Kate Winslet and Steve Jobs, mostly because it took me until about halfway through the movie to realize it was Kate Winslet. She played her part so well that I was like, are you sure that's Kate Winslet? But I've got to give it to Alicia Vikander. And I'm pretty sure I'm not saying that right, but her performance in The Danish Girl was phenomenal. I mean, hands down, she's got this. No question. You go, girl. Next, we have Best Supporting Actor, and the nominees are Christian Bale in The Big Short.
Did you think it was strange when the tech bubble burst in 2001?
Tom Hardy in The Revenant.
What life you talking about? I ain't got no life. I just got living. The only way I get to do that is through these pelts.
Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight.
It's time. They knew, and they let it happen. 2 kids.
Mark Rylance in The Bridge of Spies.
Do you never worry?
Would it help?
And Sylvester Stallone in
You're
Creed.
gonna take a beat, you're gonna take this, you're gonna get knocked down, you're gonna get up, and you're gonna see if you got the right thing.
My runner-up has absolutely got to go to Mark Rylance. His performance in The Bridge of Spies is honestly what made me like The Bridge of Spies so much. Because while I love Tom Hanks, he was just being Tom Hanks. We all know Tom Hanks is great. It wasn't really surprising to watch him be great. But Mark Rylance was so good. I don't know why, I just wanted to like hug him the whole movie. He's such a cute little old man. But my prediction for the best supporting actor has absolutely got to go to Sylvester Stallone. You can't not give it to Rocky. You just can't. And his performance in this movie was so good, so heartwarming, and it just kind of made me remember why I love Rocky so much and why everyone loves Rocky so much. He's freaking Rocky, and Sylvester Stallone is Rocky. The same way that Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man and that Hugh Jackman is Wolverine, Sylvester Stallone is Rocky. And the fact that he convinces us of that so well tells me that he deserves to win this Academy Award. If he wins, I really hope he runs up onto the stage and just goes like this at the top of the stairs and the orchestra is playing Eye of the Tiger in the background. Can you just imagine how awesome that would be? Anyways, moving on. Best Actress in a Leading Role. Pretty big deal. And the nominees are Cate Blanchett in Carol.
Would you like to come visit me this Sunday?
Brie Larson in
his dog
Room.
was
What's the dog's name?
Jack, there wasn't a dog. He was trying to trick me, okay? There wasn't a dog. Old Nick stole me.
Jennifer Lawrence in Joy.
Who sold it to you? Who taught you how to use it? And who convinced you that it was great after you thought it was worthless?
Charlotte Rampling in
Just one thing
45
you know,
Years.
I haven't been enough for you. It's something altogether different that everyone else feels it too.
Saoirse Ronan in Brooklyn.
I'll sign up for 2 movies.
Really?
Yes.
Now this has got to absolutely, no doubt about it, go to Brie Larson in Room. Her performance was so spectacular. I felt for her more than any character I have ever seen in a film. And without her facial expressions and reactions carrying you through the film, it would not be the same experience at all. And I just love that this is the same chick who played Envy Adams in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I had no idea she was such a good actress. But my runner-up has got to go to Jennifer Lawrence in Joy, partially because the Academy freaking loves Jennifer Lawrence. She's like their friggin' baby. But she was also very good in this film. And the way that it was shot gave her a lot of really close-up shots that let you see her expressions and feel even closer to her performance. And Jennifer Lawrence is a reaction actress. Her best moments are when she is reacting to something. Okay, Best Actor in a Leading Role. And the nominees are Bryan Cranston in Trumbo.
Being a pariah out in the world, I also have the supreme joy of battling insurrection in my own home, where these 10 fingers literally clothe and feed and shelter us.
Matt Damon in The Martian.
To grow 3 years worth of food here on a planet where nothing grows. Luckily, I'm a botanist.
Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant. Michael Fassbender
Carbonated
in Steve
sugar
Jobs.
water, right? I sat in a garage with Wozniak and invented the future because artists lead and hacks ask for a show of hands.
Eddie Redmayne in The Danish Girl.
Look at me.
Not everything is about you.
I'm gonna go against what a lot of critics have predicted because a lot of people say that the runner-up guy is probably gonna be Michael Fassbender. A lot of people even think he's gonna win, but I wasn't really that moved by his performance in Steve Jobs. Yes, he was great, but I definitely do not think he was better than Bryan Cranston in Trumbo. I freaking love Bryan Cranston. I mean, we knew when we saw Breaking Bad that he was amazing, so he's only gotten more amazing. But he is not my #1 pick. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but Leo, it is finally your year. Take it home an Oscar. You deserve it. You've been nominated 6 goddamn times. You've been in so many amazing roles, and dude, it's your time. This is your year. Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, taking home the Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Drop the mic. If he doesn't get it another year, I am just going to cry for him. And I'm like a little bit sad that the running joke of Leo never getting an Oscar might come to an end, but he so deserves it. And I did a lot of thinking about this, but I really think the fact that he has hardly any lines really helps him in this film, because he doesn't have dialogue to rely on, he doesn't have dialogue to fall back on. Because you can read a line and kind of know how it's supposed to be said, but when all you have is your face and your messed up bleeding neck while you're like grunting and trying to survive and breathe and also carry emotion, that is not easy, not at all. So 100% Leonardo DiCaprio winning the Oscar. So proud of him. Okay, the category we've all been waiting for, Best Picture. And the nominees are The Big Short.
Ben Klieger over at
Morgan is taking on some heavy losses in the bond department. Might be time to get a life jacket and get out.
Bridge of Spies.
It's important to our country, Jim, that this man is seen as getting a fair shake. American justice will be on trial.
Well, of course, when you put it that way, it's an honor to be asked. But, Lynn, I'm an insurance lawyer. I haven't done criminal work in years.
Brooklyn.
What?
Mad Max Fury Road. The Martian.
If I have to listen to any more god-awful disco music.
My God, Commander Lewis, couldn't you have packed anything from this century?
The Revenant. Room.
Abracadabra.
Now the candles.
We don't have any candles. No.
We set a birthday cake for real. That means candles on fire.
Jack.
Spotlight.
Told us to get law. This is law.
Barron told us to get the system. We need the full scope. That's the only thing that will put an end to this.
Then let's take it up to Ben, let him decide.
We'll take it to Ben when I say it's time.
It's time, Robbie!
Okay, I have 3 top contenders for this category. A lot of critics have said that The Big Short is going to win, and I agree that it is very possible for it to at least be second. While the script was fantastically written, the acting was fantastic, everything about it was so well done, it was not nominated for Best Cinematography, which generally goes hand in hand with the winner of Best Picture. It also does not have a nominee for Best Actor in a Leading Role. It has Christian Bale as the Best Supporting Actor, but there's no Best Lead Actor in this film. And that makes me think that judging on the Academy's general pattern of who they choose, it's not going to win. My second pick, which actually now that I think about it is number 2. I think The Big Short is number 3. But looking at all of my predictions, Mad Max has won in the most categories. Best makeup and hair, best production design, best sound editing, best costume design. Now those are 4 predicted wins, which is great for Mad Max. I'm so happy for Mad Max. But those categories aren't generally associated with the best picture. Now if they win best cinematography, the possibility becomes much higher. But the chances of Mad Max beating out The Revenant for best cinematography, probably not gonna happen. And that being said, my prediction for Best Picture goes to The Revenant. If Leo wins Best Actor, Iñárritu wins Best Directing, and Emmanuel Lubensky wins Best Cinematography, The Revenant is absolutely going to win Best Picture. I would be very surprised if that happened and they did not win Best Picture. Personally, I want The Revenant to win Best Picture. I thought it was fantastic, and it deserves to win. But that is all my predictions. I did not cover animated film, documentary short, animated short film, live action short film, or foreign films, mainly because I just didn't watch all of them. I watched some of them, not enough to make a solid prediction. I didn't want to just feed you guys information that I don't really know, but I can give you what most critics have predicted are going to be the winners. I read through a ton of predictions from a ton of veritable sources, and here are the results. Best animated film is, by a landslide, probably going to be Inside Out. Best documentary is probably going to go to Amy. Best documentary short is predicted to go to Body Team 12, closely followed by Claude Lanzmann. The best foreign film is predicted to go to Son of Saul. The best animated short film is predicted to go to Bear Story. And the best short film is kind of iffy. There's about 3 possibilities, Ave Maria being one of them, and the other 2 are really, really close. I don't know because I haven't seen them, but Shock and Stutterer are the 2 that seem to be the most highly appreciated. But those are all my predictions for the 2016 Oscars. Let me know in the comments what films you guys think are going to win. I love talking about this stuff, so I would absolutely love to have a conversation about it. Message me on Twitter, post a comment, ask me on Facebook. I just want to talk about movies all the time. I will also probably be live tweeting the Oscars because I do that every year, so if anybody cares, feel free to follow me and join the conversation. As always, be sure to like, comment, and share this video. Definitely subscribe if you want to hear more about movies and nerdy stuff and whatever. And head on over to aggressivecomics.com for the latest and greatest in geeky news. Also be sure to support us on Patreon. It really, really means a lot to us. Anything helps. If you want to see this channel grow and you want to help us, this is the best way to do it. And if you do, you get some fantastic prizes. So like, why not, right? But if not, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Steph, and I'll see you next time. Bye.